Debellis.
Okay. And he's been wanting to talk to you. Did he get to talk to you?
I talked to him previously, although John Debellis is with Sharon. Now Sharon's on here, so I wanted to do a breakout room with Sharon and the prosecutor whenever we had an opportunity.
Hello, hello, hello.
Should have kept Mr.
Attorney Mike Graven
Sweeney
coming
here
in
for
from
a minute,
Chicago,
but you-
as
okay,
usual.
So you need the prosecutor with them.
Just
And
had
then
my
if there's
coffee.
but if there's another PV besides
Mr. Luna.
Debellis, I'm not for sure I know
I
who
thought
that
we'd
is.
take a
Judge.
shot.
All right, so John Joseph Debellis is with Sharon Patterson. or
We'll
Sharon
see.
Thiel.
We'll see how this goes.
And I'm not sure who Lori is here on.
And Miss McManus, who are you here on?
I'm here on Leslie Laviolette.
Violet? Okay, and I show he is yours. Do you know about that?
We can take that one up pretty quickly, probably.
Mr. Luna just had a breakout room with Darren Patterson.
And Your Honor, I do apologize for my brief absence.
Okay,
I'm hoping this
thank
gets
you.
worse.
Do you pronounce that McManus? You do, don't you? Or is it
It's McManus, Your Honor.
McManus? Okay, very well.
We got
Maybe I'll
Mr.
remember
Rieger.
that. No guarantees.
All the characters
All
are
right,
there.
and did I see Tony Bauer on here, or was he just visiting maybe? Oh, there he is. Mr. Bauer, who are you here for?
I am here on Eldon Behringer, Your Honor.
Behringer. Okay.
Yes, and he's in custody, Judge. We'll be ready on that one also right now.
All right, let's take up Eldon Behringer then. Is he the one sitting there? He's not the one in jail.
No, the one sitting there is Gerardo Cortez.
Okay.
They're bringing Mr. Behringer in right now.
All right, we'll take you up, Mr. Cortez, shortly.
And Your Honor,
Yes.
on this Behringer case, I have been in communication with counsel about possible disposition on this case. Given that Mr. Bauer does appear today, I might appreciate his input as well, if we could have a short breakout room.
All right. So who all do we need to break out room? Mr. Bauer, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Regier, is that correct?
Yes.
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. If you would do that for us, Savannah. You got it. As all of you who are represented by Mr. Patterson can see, it is very, very helpful if you contact him before your court date. Now, I understand some of you do, and you can't always arrange a meeting, but make sure you do your best to try, because that would keep our docket moving a lot smoother if you do that. Okay. All right, we are back. Are we ready on Behringer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will be on the record now in 2022 TR 2313, State of Kansas versus Eldon Lee Shin Behringer III. Please announce appearances.
Gerardo Cortez on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Eldon Behringer. Mr.
came from Luna.
Behringer does appear from the
stayed for
Butler
Hill.
County Jail. Your Honor would announce at this time, Mr. Behringer is going to waive hearing, stipulate to the violations. Upon the court accepting his waiver, finding violations, there's an agreed recommendation that the court would modify sentence to 70 days and that he would then serve that sentence with credit for time. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Regier. That's your agreement and recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding, and perhaps Mr. Bauer can confirm it, is that the defendant has been in jail for some time. It looks like if the court does reduce the sentence to 70 days, he may have about 6 or so days left. But again, I'll respectfully defer to Mr. Bauer on the specifics of that in exchange for the stipulation.
We're live, people. In Kansas. Via Chicago.
Hey, Mr. Behringer,
What could be
Behringer, can
better?
you hear me okay? And remind me, is it Behringer or Behringer? I can't hear you, sir. Is Behringer with a hard G?
Yes.
Behringer, okay. All right, Mr. Behringer, you were,
It's right here. In the box. I'll get there. I have a
you
whole
were
computer
here
to install.
December 12th. You were here December. Someone is broadcasting during this hearing, and it's not the hearing participants. You were here 12/12/22, and you pled guilty and were convicted and sentenced to count 1 and count 2. And that would be for the counts of driving while suspended and no proof of insurance. You were placed on probation, and since that probation, a request for revocation and warrant to show cause alleging violations was filed, as you and your attorney have discussed. And in that warrant to show cause why your probation should not be revoked, Mr. Bauer, your probation officer, alleged that you failed to pay your court costs as directed, you failed to pay your fine as directed, failed to pay indigent attorney fees as directed, failed to report to probation officer as required. That you were ordered to report to probation by the end of the day on 12/12/22. On 12/27/22, you had not reported, so a letter was sent to you with instructions to report by January 13th/2023. And on January 4th/2023, the letter
She would offer to
was
fix it for free.
returned, noting that you were not at the address that you had given. And as of January 5th/2023, you had not reported to the officer at his address, and that your address was unknown. Now, you do have and for these reasons,
Sure
Mr.
is.
Bauer asked that your probation be
butter.
revoked. But your counsel tells me that you wish to admit these violations and waive your right to a hearing. Well, as Mr. Patterson has told you, you
Thanks,
do have a
Kissy
right
Cat.
to contest those allegations, to have a hearing in which the state has to call Mr. Bauer and the clerk if necessary and try to prove these allegations. But you can also waive them. And is that what you wish to do?
She is. She's got the hair put together today. I think she got it did.
Get you somebody there to help turn your microphone on, don't we? Very good. You stipulate or agree that those allegations are true?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like
And
me.
you don't want to have a hearing on it? You waive your right to a hearing?
Nah, I did all that.
All right. Is anyone making you waive this right and enter the stipulation today? I didn't hear your answer. Read your lips, but didn't hear you. Is there someone at the, okay, I think it's Darla Rabbenick. Is that, no, that's not her making that noise.
Judge, we're getting the feedback from the jail for some reason.
Oh, okay. All right, is there someone there at the jail that can help him and me with that communication?
Oh, that's frustrating. This guy's
All right,
cooperative
let's
as
try
can
it
be.
again.
He's
All right.
giving no
Is
problem.
anyone making
He's
you
like,
waive your right to a
I did
hearing
it.
and enter these stipulations, sir?
Ah, and she can't
Bill,
get
I
it.
can't, you need some help here. There's something wrong with your device, apparently. Is he too far away, too close? It says he's muted, but I'm still hearing moving around. Maybe that's Mr. Campbell.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. It's a little distorted, but it's much better.
Rieger's
All
looking
right,
laid
so
back
is
today,
anyone making you stipulate to these allegations and waive your right to hearing?
as usual.
No.
And you understand that if I accept these violations, I will find, or these allegations and stipulations, that I will find you. Is there by chance a YouTube on or another computer on that we need to shut a door from?
It's, Judge, we're getting feedback from the jail for some reason. I don't know
Well,
why.
and sometimes when that happens on my end, we have to shut the door between myself and another computer that might be on the same system. You know, that might be listening on YouTube or another computer. No? Okay.
IT with Judge Webster.
But you understand if I proceed with what you're telling me, I'll find that you're in violation of your probation and I could revoke it and make you serve the whole term? Then I didn't hear him at all. I saw yes, ma'am, it looks like, but I didn't hear him.
Yeah. All of this is frustrating.
Okay. All right, well, I can't hear you, but I can read your lips, but I really, for the record, need to be able to hear you so that the transcriptionist, should
Yes.
we need one, could transcribe what you said. No volume.
That will work. But it's sign out and sign back in.
Now, I heard that. Maybe you just need to yell at me. All right. Do you understand the things I just told you, sir? Are you hearing me better than I'm hearing you?
Just fine.
You hear me just fine. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to accept your waiver of hearing and your stipulation of facts. I do find you have knowingly and voluntarily entered these and am finding you in violation of your probation. And then I understand, Mr. Regier, your recommendation is 70 days jail sanction, credit for time served and reinstated for a year. Is that right?
Your Honor, the pursuant to plea agreements, the state's recommendation is that the sentence be reduced from 90 days to 70 days, assuming that the defendant, given that the defendant does appear today, as well as credit for time served. Additionally, it looks like, while this particular issue was not discussed, it looks like the request for revocation of probation includes failure to pay a certain number of fees, and I'm assuming those would remain outstanding.
Okay, let me back up. Okay, so you're recommending a sentence reduction from 90 days to 70 days.
As well as credit for time served, Your Honor.
Credit for time served. So that would max his time, right? There wouldn't be any more probation or any more sentence.
I believe so, Your Honor.
So you're recommending what, costs and fees to collections then?
I believe that would be appropriate. Looking over the past journal entry, it looks like the court had ordered fines on counts 1, 2, and 3 for 100, 350 respectively, as well as 108 court costs, a probation fee of $60, as well as a court appointed fee of $250. Assuming my math is correct, that would appear to come out to approximately $868, which would appear to be the outstanding balance as of today for the smart search.
And that's what I'm showing. And that's your recommendation as well, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, Judge, we are asking the court to adopt those recommendations.
Mr. Bauer, is that your recommendation as well?
Yes, Your Honor, that is fine with me.
All right, I will follow those recommendations. The sentence is reduced to 70 days. Credit for time served, costs and fees to collections. The case will close upon serving 70 days. Now, Mr. Behringer, that doesn't mean you're off scot-free. You're going to still owe that money. And you'll have to still pay that.
Yes, ma'am.
But you're gonna have a civil collection agent chasing after you instead of Mr. Bauer. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I will adjourn or recess this case. You may go, sir. Mr. Bauer is excused. Mr. Behringer is excused.
Yeah, mute the
Who
jail.
else do we have now?
Judge, did you want to take up Miss McManus's case, which is the Leslie Laviolette?
Will now be on the record in 2020 CR 493, State of Kansas versus Leslie Lewis Laviolette. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Leslie Laviolette, who does not appear. And Judge, I have not had any contact from him. I have no idea why he's not here. So I don't have anything else I can add, Your Honor.
His first appearance on this warrant to show cause was April 11th of 2022. Unless he's already dealt with that, and this is a second warrant to show cause, at which time first appearance would have been December 9th of 2022. But he was most certainly physically present March 6, 2023 at the Sally Port at the courthouse, at which time he was told that Mr. Patterson was appointed his counsel.
Have you ever had a failure to appear?
Reappeared today. I am at this point going to issue a bench warrant, no bond hold.
And forgive me, Your Honor, would that be a bond forfeiture bench warrant? It looks like Ms. Norris was at the previous December 9th hearing. I'm showing that there was a professional surety bond entered in this case for $1,500.
Well, I'm showing that February 11th of 2022, a $1,500 cash or surety bond was ordered, but I don't see that it was posted. Is that the bond that you refer to, counsel?
The appearance bond that I have, it appears to have been executed on December 28th of 2022, setting for the defendant's appearance on December 9th of 2022, which would have been 2 hearings ago by my notes, which would have been the first appearance on the warrant to show cause. It appears to be a professional surety bond, $1,500. Appears to be the surety appears to be for a mama.
All right, well, my notes from December 9th are not reflecting the bond issue, and I don't see a copy in the file, but you do have a copy of the bond, Mr. Regier?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, Savannah, would you make a note to try to track that bond down and have it filed?
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe we need to put in the bond, in the docket notes if that was issued. And at this time, yes, I am, in answer to your question, ordering a bond forfeiture of that bond, Mr. Regier, as well as the new bench warrant with the no bond hold.
Very good, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bench warrant. All right, and Ms. McManus, I'm sorry we've wasted so much of your time. You are excused. And I believe that brings us back to Ms. Thiel's client, Debellis.
Judge, that's the one that I was wanting to see if I could do a breakout room with Ms. Thiel and Mr. Regier.
Oh, that'll be a
Okay.
party.
Savannah, would you set that up, please?
Thank you, medic in West Virginia. No, I need Darren Patterson back because I want her to call Luna. Now the chat's telling me that Hill should be good times too.
Brandon Stevenson, my what? My camera is stuck, is back. Okay.
What's
You're a
going
little too
on?
close to the screen. Pull your note back. It's kind of like I can't read it if it's too close.
that
or I can't
far.
read it if it's too far back. Okay, so you're telling me you're back in business? So give me a thumbs up if that's what you're telling me. Savannah, is that how you, all right, there we go. Okay, Mr. Stevenson, how about Mr. Nice? Did you get your volume worked out? Is your volume working?
Levi,
Mr.
nice.
Nice?
Yeah, it's not looking like it.
It doesn't look like it. I can try and kick them out and then put them in the waiting room and then bring them back in and see if that does anything.
Okay, why don't you try that? If that doesn't work, has he already tried leaving and coming back?
I don't know.
If he hasn't done that, he needs to. If he has done that, I can't read what it says. Can you hold it a little closer? I can't see your screen.
I'm gonna put them in the waiting room and, oh,
Can you read that, Savannah?
no, I can't.
Too far away. Yeah, I'll let Savannah and Mr. Nice, do you know, I'll let you screen chat or whatever you need to do because
Yep.
we need to get that volume working before this gets up. The deputy?
Your Honor, on that Brandon Stevenson,
Yes.
didn't we take that up earlier? That was Mr. Andrews' client.
Yes, that's accurate. And he failed to
That-
get that
he
comment.
failed-
We sure are.
Is that the one that failed to appear?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay.
Levi looks like he's about 15 years
Can
old.
you hear me now?
Yes.
There we go. Yes, very good. Don't lose that volume.
All right.
But I've let my other prosecutor go. He's tied up in another courtroom now, so I'm gonna have to wait for the other one to come back. How about Butler County Detention? Did we figure out what your issue was?
About
Can you hear us now, Your Honor?
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, I signed out and signed back in. It must have fixed the issue.
It's amazing how sometimes that will, and then other times it won't, but more times than not, I think it does.
Yay. We're getting there. But honestly, I think this might have been involved.
Yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved that people were giving to me that ended up being glue. Like I smoked some glue and stuff. I thought I was smoking crack, and
Anyone at the Sallyport today?
Nope, sure don't.
Right.
Could I have John Debellis in a breakout room, please?
Very well, Mr. Debellis, please look for your breakout room invitation.
Okay.
Okay, do we need to bring Tyler back, Savannah?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Tyler says he's in a breakout room. Do we need to bring him out, or is he waiting on Mr. Patterson still?
I don't see him in a breakout room.
Well, he says he sent it. He
I'll-
sent a
I'll
group
just-
chat.
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
he
he
is.
is.
I was just letting you know I'm still here when
Oh,
we're here,
okay.
ready, whenever.
thank you.
So,
Thank you. And I think I just figured out what you were trying to tell me, Deputy, that Brandon Stevenson that's walking all about, he failed to appear and now he's here. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Stevenson, have you talked to your lawyer today? Probably ought to call your lawyer.
Oh, man, I gotta get together.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Is that Brandon Stevenson?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you need to call your attorney right now.
I called and I had to have my Zoom connection reset to me. I couldn't connect to court. And my camera, for some reason, won't let me switch to the front camera, so it's staying on my back camera. I don't know why.
Well, is your attorney able to join you at this late hour?
Well, I was supposed to have Dave Patterson, but they said that they were going to have to reassign counsel to me because of a conflict of
did?
interest. And I didn't.
I told you it was Joshua Andrews.
I had no idea of that, ma'am. I didn't get notification of new counsel.
Well, let me check because I don't normally appoint Mr. Andrews without telling you. But let me see how it came to be that you didn't know you had Josh.
And I don't, honestly, ma'am, I don't think I've stood before you, Your Honor, yet. This is the first time I've ever seen you.
Okay. Well, let me check and see what that could be. The other judges may not operate in the same mode I do. Okay, let's see. You have a criminal trespass charge. January 30th, you were in front of Judge Webster. That would be me. So you were here. No, you failed to appear. That's why you were in Sedgwick County Jail. When I get everybody back. Mr. Regier, can we take that up right now?
Given that Mr. Patterson's not here, I'm ready to proceed if the defendant is indeed pro se.
It looks like he's pro se. So, and it doesn't look like, how did I not? No, I appointed Josh Andrews, and Josh Andrews was here for him this morning. And okay. Let's take him on the record.
We are on the struggle bus.
No.
Full
Mr.
force.
Stevenson, call your attorney, Josh Andrews. Would you give him the number, Savannah?
Yes.
For Josh Andrews. Take this down. Are you ready, Mr. Stevenson?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is 316-775-5418.
It is a bad
You want me
time,
to
Thomas.
call him right now?
I do. I see what you're saying. You appeared in front of Judge Crum and other judges. Well, you appeared in front of Judge Crum. You failed to appear in front of Judge. You appeared in front of Judge Crum, failed to appear in front of Judge Murphin, failed to appear in front of me. That's why you don't know that Mr. Patterson, appointed by Judge Crum, had a conflict, and why I appointed Josh Andrews. So Josh Andrews right now.
Okay, I was in custody, and I did have you guys notified that I was in custody, so I didn't just skip court or anything.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, call Mr. Andrews right now.
Because I was in
If
custody.
he cannot rejoin with you, then you come back by yourself, and we'll give you a new court date.
I mean, if I wasn't.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do it right
I
now. Thank you
sir.
very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Butler County Detention's chilling.
Hope to get you all out of here by noon, but it's starting to look very questionable.
We have here is failure to communicate.
Is there anyone who has Mr. Patterson that hasn't spoken to him yet? Who's Galaxy S23 Ultra? What's your name? Gotta unmute, please. What's your name?
Alicia Callison.
Did you try to call him prior to today?
I did, yes, I did, but I couldn't get no answer, and I haven't tried back because I've been really busy.
Okay. Well, he's got a pretty efficient staff. I'm surprised that they didn't call you back.
Well, I think they might have, but I've been really busy moving.
I see.
So, yeah.
All right. That makes, yeah. All right. So Alicia Callison needs to talk to Mr. Patterson. Did I see someone else? Nope. Okay.
Well, we're all backed up on Darren Patterson right now.
And we have Mr. Patterson in a breakout room with his client, Mr. Debellis. Okay. Savannah, can you send them a note that I need them back? We need to keep moving.
All right, can we get Rigger to juggle for us or something? Slightly, but not much. Live does not solve all the issues. It really doesn't.
Thank you, Judge.
People act
right,
like
we
jerks
ready
in
to
person
proceed?
too. Trust me.
Or do I need to go on and come back to this one? I really hate
We
to go
are,
off.
we are
Ms.
ready to
Thiel.
proceed, Judge.
It's technical. People aren't
If
acting
he's
out.
back on here. John, there we are. Judge, we're ready.
Darren Patterson.
On the record in 2021 CR 387, State of Kansas versus John Joseph Debellis. Please announce appearances.
Here on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of John Debellis. Mr. Debellis does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, this is a warrant to show cause case. I would tell the court that I have reviewed the violations with Mr. Debellis of not serving the previous 14 days ordered, failing to report as directed, failing to pay as directed, and not obtaining the substance abuse evaluation. Judge, he is going to waive hearing and stipulate to those violations.
Thank you. Mr. Debellis, is that correct? You waive your right to hearing and stipulate that the violations alleged as just recited by Mr. Patterson are true and correct?
What is
Would you
this?
unmute? Oh, there you are.
What does the
You do.
stipulation exactly mean? Like,
That means you agree.
I
You
mean-
agree? You can either agree that you didn't do those conditions or I don't know what your agreement is, but sometimes folks take a no contest position. They don't admit they violated their probation, but they don't deny it. What is your position?
a no contest.
Does that violate any agreements between the state and the defense, Mr. Patterson, Mr. Regier?
Judge, it still gets us to the end of it. So no, I don't think it violates anything.
Mr. Regier, you agree?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. I think that should be sufficient from the state's point of view.
And is this the first or second show cause, Mr. Regier?
Second, Judge.
And that is my understanding that it is the second, Your Honor.
That's what I thought it looked like. And this one is on the request or affidavit from December 16th of 2022.
Yes, Judge.
So, Mr. Regier, if you were to put on your evidence and call Ms. Sharon Thiel as probation officer, are you proffering that she would testify that he failed to pay his court costs, failed to pay his fines, failed to pay indigent attorney's fees, leaving a balance of $1,398, has failed to report to the jail to serve his court-ordered sanction on November 28th in the prior revocation, and has not been in contact with this officer as ordered by the court on 11/28 of 2022, as well as he has failed to complete his alcohol and drug counseling treatment?
The state would still proffer, Your Honor.
Ms. Thiel, is that what you testified to?
Yes, Your Honor. The only thing that has changed is that in January, he paid $40, so the new balance is $13.58.
All right. And Mr. Debellis, you said you're taking a no contest plea, and I trust no one's forced you to take a no contest plea. That you're doing that freely and voluntarily. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, yes. God,
Okay.
I feel so bad. Like, I'm freaking out. Sorry. I'm like,
All right. Well, it's your free and voluntary
You gotta say
stipulation or not?
yes.
Do you want a
I mean,
hearing? Do you want
I've
Ms. Thiel to testify to what she
I've
just
been
told
trying
me?
to do good. I've been trying to turn it around. I went and seen her. I literally have a stack of money. I've been working so hard to come and pay these fines today. Like,
Okay, well, let's go take a deep breath. Take a deep, slow
I'm
breath.
freaking out. Like,
I know, but take a deep breath, in and out, slowly, as they say. And let's take this one.
I did jail time for this. I did jail
Hey,
time.
hang
for
on,
this
Mr.
during
Debellis.
COVID.
Let's do this, sir, one step at a time.
Like I
All
did
right.
jail time for this during COVID, and I
Okay.
literally didn't get out of myself for 12 days. For 12 days, I didn't shower or nothing because of COVID. And like it traumatically messed me up, you know, like nobody gives a care, you know, but I know nobody does. But I will do whatever it takes. Like I will scrub the ground for the state. I don't care. I just don't want to do jail time. I mean, I'll do house arrest, I'll pay my fines, I'll do whatever I gotta do. Like I'm freaking out, Judge, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like
All right, well, what, you just sit there and breathe and I'll talk for a minute. You came in here October 26th of 2021 on a violation of a protection order that forbids you to stalk, assault, or traffic. And then you had a possession of marijuana charge the same day. Then you came in here November 23rd of 21. You had Attorney Watts representing you. He had an issue. You had Joe Favre then represent you. At some point, there was a preliminary hearing and we ended up on several different hearings with April 8th of 2022. You reached a plea agreement. You pled no contest, both to count 1, the violation of a protection order, and count 2, the possession of marijuana. Do you remember all that?
yeah.
Okay, and then you were given a sentence that included 12 months in jail on count 1 and 6 months on the other, consecutive for a total of 18 months, but you weren't having to serve that. You went on probation. Do you remember that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. But then you ended up not doing some of those conditions. So you ended up in front of the judge for a revocation hearing. Is that right?
Yes. I at that time wasn't in the right state of mind to be accepting what the judgment that was happening upon me. And I was kind of, I guess you could say, rebellious, you know, that I didn't deserve it. But it's like, I understand. I just need it done and it's dealt with, and I need to get it out of the way.
Oh, man, I gotta get together.
8th of 2022 with Mr. Patterson present and Ms. Thiel and Darren DeVinny, the county attorney, and myself. You did at that time at your first revocation hearing stipulate to violations, waived your right to hearing, and were ordered to serve 14 days in the county jail with credit for time served. Now, did you do the 14 days? Or is that part of the no contest? Okay. And so that was November 28th. January 30th, you were back here in front of Judge Crum because a warrant had been issued that you hadn't done the 14 days and those other things I just went over. So it's that you're here on now. And again, you've told me you want to waive your right to hearing and take a no contest plea to the violations that Ms. Thiel alleged. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Is that still what you want to do?
I mean, I don't see how it's gonna. I mean, I feel cornered. You know, like there's no other way for me to.
Okay. Well, if you don't want to, I don't want you to be cornered. If you don't want to accept a stipulation or a no contest, then Mr. Regier's obligation is to put her under oath, and I can have her do that real quick if you want me to do that.
Right.
Would you rather have a hearing than enter a no contest plea or no contest stipulation?
I just want to take care of everything without going to jail.
Okay, well, let's do this. I want to do this one step at a time. And the next step is, do you want Ms. Thiel to testify under oath to what she proffered her testimony would be? Or do you want to continue with your no contest? We have to cross that bridge before we get anywhere
I know.
else.
I just wish I could show her that I really want to do it.
Judge, can I have a brief breakout room?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. He just is not understanding.
But please keep it brief because you've got a lot of other folks.
I understand, Judge. Yes.
Okay, Savannah, would you please give them a very brief breakout room?
He wants her to say what the sentence is, and she can't. She's got to take the plea first, and then she'll be easy on him if he does it. Oh, it's frustrating. And that's all that Patterson's going to tell him right now. Like, dude, they've got the witness. You're going down either way. Stipulate to it. Judge Webster's nice. She won't hit you too hard on sentencing, but you know, this thing's a foregone conclusion. Seriously. At least we're not dealing with this.
There was, and I hate, God, I hate this. Ain't no bunch of dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy, dick pussy, going back and forth between texts with one another, and I never want to hear it again.
So it could be worse.
Okay, Brandon Stevenson, did you get a hold of your attorney? And is he going to join us? Can you talk to me? I think I've got your volume if you want to use your words.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you get a hold of Mr. Andrews?
No, ma'am. She said that he wasn't available at the time.
All right, let's take up your case then.
Okay.
Yeah, clear what you can.
We are back on the record.
Use your
I
words.
need to see your face, Mr. Stevenson.
I noticed she did drop that on him.
There we go. Thank you. We are back on the record and keep it on your face, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We are back on the record in 2021 CR 309, State of Kansas versus Brandon Alexander Stevenson. The state now appearing by Assistant County Attorney Jared Regier. The defendant, Brandon Alexander Stevenson, now appearing in person, but because it is now 11:25 and his attorney was here at 9
Every
a.m.
time,
for the hearing
100%.
and waited for some time. The attorney was excused due to the defendant's apparent failure to appear. A bond forfeiture and bench warrant issued. The defendant contacted the court, said he didn't know that Mr. Andrews was his attorney and was having connection difficulties to the Zoom proceedings. I did have him contact Mr. Andrews' office to see if Mr. Andrews could rejoin us at this late hour, and he has understandably moved on to other obligations that he had scheduled for today. So, Mr. Regier, what is the state's position on this matter at this time? And I would just point out that Mr. Stevens' charges involved one count of criminal trespass dating back to June 10th of 2021. However, I understand he has spent a good deal of time in either the Sedgwick County Jail or possibly the Kansas Department of Corrections during this absence.
Well, Your Honor, first and foremost, this is Ms. Norris's case officially. So any, I guess, deciding points on that, I would respectfully defer to her on that. Given that Mr. Andrews does not appear here today, I am somewhat reluctant to proceed to final disposition. If the court does want to reset this matter to give Mr. Andrews the opportunity to prepare and be heard, I would definitely suggest that would be appropriate as a matter of professional courtesy. I believe the court had previously alluded to a bond forfeiture bench warrant it had ordered. I'll of course defer to the court on as to how it wishes to proceed. I was not on that hearing, so I can't necessarily say for certain what was ordered previously.
Who is the alleged victim of this criminal trespass, if you have that, Mr. Regier? If you have that handy.
Your Honor, pursuant to paragraph 4 of the affidavit, it would appear that the reporting party was one Ryan Matke. Forgive my pronunciation.
So it looks like it was a resident on Prairie Creek Road in Andover, is that right? Okay, do you know this person that they're alleging to be your victim, Mr. Stevenson?
No, ma'am. It's an empty field with a property that was up for
Okay,
public
just-
auction next to
Okay.
where my mother-in-law lives. And my wife and I were just going for a walk, and we just cut through the field, and we triggered like a
Mr.
hunting camera or
Stevenson?
something. And
Okay.
and they called the cops. I don't know
Probably tell you not to
who
be
they
saying
are,
anything with them out.
and we
Okay.
didn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sir?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. I'm
Your
sorry.
attorney is Mr. Andrews, and I think he would tell you not to say anything until he's present. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to
Sorry.
trust that you are trying to get your life back on track. Are you on parole right now in the other county in Sedgwick?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am going to withdraw the bench warrant and bond forfeiture. So that'll probably be good for your parole.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to order that you contact Mr. Andrews' office when this is over and tell his staff what's happened. I'm going to set this over
Okay.
for Savannah, that June 5th was a Monday,
Yes, that's correct.
and we have room to put him back on there.
Yep.
Let's do that. And Savannah, you might let Mr. Patterson's office know just for good measure, but I'm ordering Mr. Stevenson, if he wants his bond to be reinstated and continue on, he needs to call Mr. Andrews, tell him his next court date is June 5th at 9 a.m., that the court set aside the bond forfeiture bench warrant, and that the defendant is ordered to set up a time to talk to Mr. Patterson before that court date. Mr. Andrews.
I'll call them right now.
All right, anything
And
further?
that's the same phone number you guys just gave me a little bit ago, right?
Same thing, he's with Baker and Associates out of Augusta.
Yes, ma'am. I'll call him right now.
Okay, anything further, Mr. Regier?
Just one thing, Your Honor. Could I please get the court some clarification on the amount of the bond forfeiture bench warrant that is withdrawing just for purposes of my notes?
I had issued the bench warrant and set his new bond for 2,000 cash or surety. That's what I'm setting aside,
Thank you, Your Honor.
leaving him on his previous bonds. Anything else from you, Mr. Stevenson?
So do I have a warrant?
No.
Okay, thank you for withdrawing
Not-
it, Your Honor.
You're
Sorry
welcome.
about my tardiness.
Well, just do your best. You can always come to the courthouse if you're having trouble getting logged in too.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you might, do you know how to send a message to the clerk? Well,
I've never done
Okay.
that.
all right, just make sure Mr. Andrews has your current address, telephone number, and email address.
You got it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. You're excused, Mr. Stevenson.
Okay, you have a blessed day, Your Honor.
Thank you, and you as well.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Mr. Patterson, we are back with which of your clients? Are we still on Debellis?
John Debellis, Your Honor, yes.
Okay. Oh, yes, Mr. Debellis. All right, so Mr. Debellis, are you wanting Ms. Thiel to testify, or what do you want to do?
Judge, if I may,
Yes?
I would tell the court after talking with Mr. Debellis, at this time, he is not entering into a stipulation or a no contest stipulation to the violations.
All right. Mr. Regier, you ready to call your first
Sweet
witness?
Jesus.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would respectfully call Ms. Sharon Thiel to the stand.
Ms. Thiel, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
We could have
Mr.
just
Regier.
started here.
Please state your name for the record.
Sharon Thiel.
Where are you currently employed?
I work for court services in the 13th Judicial District. My main office is in El Dorado.
Okay. And how long have you worked in your current capacity?
35 or more years.
Okay. Did you Did you submit a request for revocation of probation to the court?
I did.
Did the request for revocation include specific reasons behind the request?
Yes.
Can you please detail what that request involved, at least from a fine standpoint?
On 12/16 of 2022, I filed a request for revocation of probation on John Debellis, case number 21 CR 387 here in Butler County. I alleged that.
Okay, stop right there and hold that thought. Mr. Debellis, you need to start your screen where I can see you.
I'm sorry.
All right, and Mr. Debellis, where are you at this point in time?
Currently at a friend's residence. I work with him doing remodels and stuff like that.
What's the friend's name?
Andrew
Andrew what?
Greer.
And what address are you at?
What is it? It's on a dirt road. It's out on 90th.
Is Mr. Greer home?
No, he's continued working at the job.
So he just left you his house? Do you live at his house?
No, I'm currently sitting here using his Wi-Fi.
Okay, but you can't look at his house address and tell me where you are? What county are you in?
It's on a rural road.
What county are you in?
I'm in Butler. Sorry.
Okay, Butler, and what road are you on?
90th.
Where should I send the sheriffs? That's what I'm trying to say here.
Can you look at the mailbox and tell me where you are?
Yeah, I'd have to walk out to the road to it.
How long would that take you?
Not very long at all.
Let's do that.
All right.
Let's do it. Oh, he played this wrong. Oh, did he play this wrong? Are we gonna have another on Zoom arrest? We had the one that woman who claimed to be in Alaska. When they came and arrested her mid hearing. I doubt it'll happen that fast here. We're out in rural Kansas, but. Darren's like, I told the dummy. I'm going to sit here stoically and watch this go down. I tried to tell him.
I just ran out there. I didn't see an address, but it's on Munson Hill and 90th. That helps at all.
That towards Greenwood County?
Towards south of El Dorado.
Okay. All right. And so are you in a position where you could come to the courthouse if I needed you to?
Yeah, I could call him up and have him come and pick me up.
Okay. Well, let's try to proceed. Go ahead, Ms. Thiel.
Your Honor, on the affidavit, I alleged that he had not made any payments. At the time, his balance was $1,398, with no payments having been received. I also alleged that he failed to report to serve his court-ordered jail sanction that was ordered on November 28th of 2022 as a result of his first warrant to show cause hearing. He had also not contacted me on the 28th of November in 2022 as the court had directed him at that hearing. I further alleged that he still had not complied with the condition to get a drug alcohol evaluation and follow all those recommendations. And the only thing that has changed since that warrant was requested in December is that on January 27th, 2023, he paid $40 and his balance today is $13.58. But he did not serve the sanction that was ordered on November 28th, 22, which was ordered as 14 days in the Butler County facility. But he had been given credit for 4 days.
Where did he go?
Served in September, so he really only had 10 days at that time.
So Ms. Thiel, to the best of your knowledge.
There he is.
The current balance on this case is $1,358.00.
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request the court take judicial notice of the case summary through Smart Search. I have that in front of me. It would appear to indicate a balance due as of April 3rd of 2023 in the amount of $1,358.00.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the process you refer to, counsel, as Smart Service, but I do have the official court file through Odyssey open on my screen right now, showing what you asked the court to take notice of, and I do take judicial notice that the defendant does owe $1,358. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. In your affidavit, Ms. Thiel, you further.
We might.
You indicate to the defendant's failure to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation. That was a court-ordered special condition of his probation.
Yes. Back in when he was originally placed on probation on April 8th of 2022, that was a condition of the probation ordered by the court.
To date, have you received a completed drug and alcohol evaluation?
No.
I go for it on Monday. I have it scheduled and everything.
Hold on,
Sir,
John.
please don't interrupt. Let him finish. Please proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Thiel, you indicate further in your affidavit that the defendants failed to serve the balance of a 14-day jail sanction that was ordered by the court in November of 2022. What was that sanction ordered in regards to?
A revocation hearing that was held on November 28th of 22, where the allegations that he was found in violation of were failure to report as directed, failure to pay as directed, failure to get a substance abuse evaluation, failure to remain in the state of Kansas, and failure to notify the CSO of any changes.
Other than that, he was compliant.
But you more recently referred to an amount of credit. I believe it was 4 days. What is that?
That was also noted in the journal entry that was filed with the court on December 15th of 22, based on the November 28th hearing. Somehow he received 4 days of jail credit for September 29th, 22 through October 3rd of 22, which I would assume would have been when he was picked up on that warrant prior to making bond.
And so essentially this particular warrant to show cause currently before the court in many ways mirrors a prior warrant to show cause, if I'm hearing you correct.
Yes.
Have you ever had any contact with the victim in this matter?
Yes.
Recently?
It's been since December, I believe. I'm sorry, November 30th of 2022. I had a phone conversation with her where she called me.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay on what this person would have said.
Well, so far she hadn't committed any hearsay. She just said the woman called her. So I understand you're willing to be proactive, but let's proceed.
And
overruled for now.
And what is your recommendation in light of the prior goings on in this case?
I recommended at least double of his original warrant to show cause from November. So what we believe was 14 days, we were looking at around 28 to 38 days
Dawning on him.
in jail as a second violation.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, cross-examination, Mr. Patterson?
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Thiel, you testified that since the warrant, he has made one payment, correct?
Yes,
And since the warrant, have you also had contact with him?
yes.
And can you tell us the nature of the contact with him and what you have discussed with him?
Sure is.
I think the easiest for me would be to go from date to date from the last hearing. There was no contact with him prior to him being arrested on this warrant to show cause in December. On January 30th of 2023, John called me. He advised he'd been picked up on the warrant. He advised he did 1 or 2 days before he bonded out on that. He advised he had a job with SJB Construction and his boss was Sean Perry, and that he was working in Baxter Springs on that day. And I had to end the conversation because I had other things going on. Then I had him scheduled for 11 o'clock on February 6th, 2023 as a call-in. He called in at 11:33 inquiring what time his appointment was scheduled. I advised him that he had missed it. He told me he had an appointment with ARC, which is Addiction Recovery Services in Augusta, that he was going to next Tuesday to get his drug alcohol evaluation. And I advised that that would be in his best interest. On the 6th, I made note again that he's supposed to get the evaluation done at ARC and to get it done. Sorry, I chronoed that twice. On December 15th, I tried to reach John at 2 numbers that I had on him, and I ended up texting him on both of those phone numbers that I currently have him scheduled to report in person on February 23rd, but I had double booked myself and was asking for him to change that appointment to February 22nd. On February 22nd at 2, I had believed that I was expecting to see John at that time. He did not show or call. And again, I had texted the 2 numbers I had for him trying to schedule that. On the 23rd of February, 2023, I got a voicemail from John advising he was extremely sick. I still have that voicemail on my phone, coughing and the bug is going around, and that he was calling from his mother's phone and wanted me to return the call. On February 23rd, I did return the call, spoke with him. And he was advising that he had the stomach and a cold type flu. We rescheduled for an appointment the next Monday. On February 23rd, I also tried to return the call to his mother's home. And she told me that he had
Objection,
gone to the
hearsay.
doctors.
Okay, yeah, I'll sustain as to hearsay as to what the lady said, the actual words.
Okay. And he called me back on the 23rd. He advised he had taken all the kids and himself to urgent care near Sutherland's. And we set the appointment for March 9th in person at 2:00. On March 9th, he did appear in person. We talked about the need for the drug alcohol evaluation, his need to get valid driver's license and to stop driving without one. He was very anxious and upset about the jail sanction and worried about going to jail. We talked about the balance having decreased to $13.58. A lot of recommendations for how to work on his driver's license, and how to work with getting that with an SR22 and or through a state program to get it to be valid. Also mentioned again to get the drug alcohol evaluation, get the driver's license, and find a job that's above board where he's getting a 1099 or regular pay.
I want to ask you a little bit more about his comments to you about the jail. You said that he was worried. Could you describe his mental state when he was talking to you about being worried about going to jail?
He and I had talked about it a couple different times, and both times were very similar to what the court would have witnessed today. He's very anxious, pacing, fretting, almost to the point of being immobilized. I don't know how else to describe it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
it's
getting
exactly
anxiety.
what the court witnessed today.
Or it's math or something. I don't know, but
Have you determined whether there was a need for a mental health evaluation for John?
He and I had spoke about things before, and I can't give you the dates off the top of my head right now without going through everything again, but it's definitely been advisable for him.
Okay. And has he informed you that he does have a scheduled date for his drug and alcohol evaluation?
Not me specifically. I just heard him try to tell the court about it.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
Any redirect, Mr. Regier?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Any further evidence, Mr. Regier?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
Any evidence, Mr. Patterson?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Debellis does want to briefly testify.
oh,
Mr.
good
Debellis, do you want
Lord.
to testify? You'll need to unmute. Do you wish to testify, sir?
This should be good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please
This
raise your
shouldn't
right hand.
get worse.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
Oh,
but
no.
the truth, so help you
Oh,
God?
no.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please. thank
Oh,
you. You may
no.
lower your hand. Please proceed, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Debellis, one of the violations is failure to pay, but from a statement you made earlier, it appears you have been saving money to pay. Is that correct?
Yes,
About how much do you have right now that you can pay on the case?
roughly 500.
Okay. And also, the violation for not serving the previous sanction. We've heard testimony from Ms. Thiel about your mental state when that comes up. Can you tell the court a little bit about that also?
Well, when I initially got arrested on these charges, my mother was out of state, and so I had nobody to bond me out at the current time while it was really strong during COVID and everybody was being sick. Well, when I had got arrested and incarcerated, I literally couldn't use the phone for 11 days straight because I didn't get out of my cell for 11 days, like 24-hour lockdown, no shower, no nothing for 11 days before I could get out and make a phone call to get bonded out. Like, it was a traumatic experience. And on top of that, I started losing my mental capacity, and I told the guards. And so what did they do? They came up to my room with a turtle suit and tried to stuff me in some like suitcase thing. Like,
yeah, that's what'll happen.
It was not humane. It was not something I would want for my worst enemy. Like, for 2 weeks afterwards, I didn't know if I was going to wake up and underneath the cell or if I was in real life. Like, I did not know. Like, it was such a traumatic experience. I never want to live it again. Like,
So John, what are you asking the court to do today?
I mean, sure. I mean, I'm not asking for a whole lot. I mean, I know it's hard for me to say, please believe me, and for you to sit there and believe me after the things I've done in the past. Okay. Like, I admit I have messed up. I admit I haven't stood up and done the things that I should have done. But I mean, whatever I could possibly do, whether it be manual labor or house arrest or, you know, like washing their cars, I don't care. Like, I will do whatever it takes. Jail is just it's gonna mentally kill me. And I'm just like, I've been trying to gather myself after my relationship and being away from my kids. And it's kind of hard, you know, and I've just been able to get them back and everything lately. And I would hate to, you know, they're 2 and 4 years old, you know, it's like a crucial age when I'm dada, you know, and dada's gone. It's like, it's a nightmare.
So John, you said that you would be requesting house arrest. How long do you believe house arrest should be?
Whatever the court feels is necessary, I feel.
Okay. And do you have a drug and alcohol evaluation scheduled?
Yes, I have one at 7th.
Yeah, you did before too.
7th direction, Monday at noon.
Okay.
That's like, I've been trying to get it scheduled for a while, but they've been literally busy as can be.
No other questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr. Regier?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, that wasn't so bad because we had Darren Patterson directing
Any
it.
further evidence, Mr. Patterson?
No other evidence, Your Honor.
Okay. I find the defendant has, for the second time, violated his probation for the allegations stated in the petition, or I'm sorry, the affidavit supporting the warrant to show cause herein. I revoke the defendant's probation, but I would hear any other recommendations for disposition, Mr. Regier.
Your Honor, in my conversations with counsel and Ms. Thiel, there had been a previous agreement regarding a 28 days plus 10 days from the last warrant to show cause as far as a jail sanction is concerned, as well as a 12-month extension on probation, drug and alcohol evaluation, as well as the fines to remain outstanding. The state continues to have no objection to that particular arrangement. However, the state would be opposed to any house arrest at this time, given the prior goings on in this case.
Mr. Regier, I don't believe you were the attorney here at sentencing. I believe it was Assistant County Attorney Sweeney. That would have been April 8th, 2022, almost exactly a year ago.
No, he was still in
And
kindergarten at that time.
time, as part of the plea agreement, a felony case was dismissed against Mr. Debellis. That was case 2021 CR 270, a level 5 drug felony. Is that what your notes show?
Your Honor, can I respectfully inquire as to that other case real briefly?
21 CR 270.
That would appear so, Your Honor. I do show a journal entry of dismissal with prejudice in 21 CR 270, which states, quote, the plaintiff moves that the above entitled action hearing should be dismissed with prejudice per plea in Butler County District Court Case 21 CR 387.
And can you tell me what the level 5 felony drug was that he allegedly possessed prior to dismissal?
Your Honor, the information filed on August 2nd of 2021 in that other case appears to allege that on about the second day of August 2021 in Butler County, Kansas, John Joseph Debellis unlawfully possessed an opiate, opium, or narcotic drug or stimulant, so designated, or a controlled substance analog thereof, to wit, methamphetamine, in violation of KSA 21-5706, subsection AC1, a level 5 drug person felony.
And was that the only charge apparently in that case? The one count?
It would appear so, Your Honor.
Now, back to this case, 21 CR 387. It is based on violation of a no contact order. Apparently, he was to have no contact with someone who had obtained a protection order against him in Butler County 21 DM 381 that I believe would have expired October of 2022. I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have that information available to confirm?
Your Honor, may I speak?
No.
Hold on, John.
Shut your hole.
Your Honor, the information that was originally filed with the court in this case in October of 2021 does appear to refer to Butler County District Court case number 2021 DM 381 by going to the protected residence and knocking on the door.
So the allegations supporting this case, he'd been told in a protection order to stay away from a certain person, and then he shows up at their door.
They want to pick him up right
in
now.
violation of that order.
That's what the count one of the original information would appear to suggest, Your Honor.
But I do think he's at a friend's
So
house.
does that appear to be the mother of these two children that he mentions, or are you at this point in time able to
I'm not
tell
an
me
expert,
that?
but they don't have a warrant for that house.
Your Honor, respectfully, I do not have that information in front of me at this time, I'm afraid.
Which I think would be complicated
Ms.
to
Thiel, I
grab him
heard you
today.
and Mr. Patterson talking about the victim. Would that be the mother of these two children that we refer to as the victim?
I'm speaking of Jennifer Crom.
Of course, she might have
I'm
signed one on
not
the side.
exactly sure which children are hers and John's together. John advises he has 5 kids.
Yeah, I consider his money.
Okay.
This is live,
And I
yo.
didn't let you get into what Jennifer Crom was concerned about. But do you have the impression that she wants to resume relations with him or not?
My impression from her is that the co-parenting seems to be working, and that she still has no interest of any intimate relation or romantic relationship with him.
Okay. And do you know if the protection order did expire October 22, or if she had that extended?
Your Honor, I can't answer that. I've been trying to scour through court orders and I haven't found it yet.
All right. Okay.
Is that the sheriff calling John, telling him to open the door?
Mr. Debellis wanted to say something. Does he still want to do that, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I think he's wanting to let you know that the no contact order has been lifted in that case, that it no longer is.
Lifted or expired? It said expire October 22.
I've received an email from Ms. Crom that would indicate to me that she wants to have contact with Mr. Debellis in order to care for the kids.
But you haven't any specific firsthand knowledge whether it expired or she went in and had it lifted?
Those files are protected, Judge. I don't have access.
Fair answer. All right. Anything else from anyone before?
Your Honor.
Mr. Debellis, it's between you and your attorney if he wants to let you talk.
Judge, I think what he has to add is about that, so I have no objection. I think it'd probably be helpful.
Mr. Debellis?
Still
under oath now.
Yes.
Okay.
In the case of that, if the charges were lifted, we stood in front of Judge Ricky, I believe. He had lifted the charges. I believe it was in September, so sometime in September last year.
Shortly before it would have expired by its terms anyway.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification.
Mm-hmm.
Now, recommendations, Mr. Regier, if maybe you've given them and I just didn't note it. I think you did. You're recommending a 28-day sentence?
Yes, Your Honor, in addition to the 10 days already ordered per the last warrant to show cause, the state would further recommend a 12-month extension on probation, the drug and alcohol evaluation to be completed, of course, per the court's prior orders. It would appear that there have been certain allegations on that point, but of course I don't have any documentation confirming that at this point, as well as the fines to remain outstanding, or in the alternative for them to go to collections. But however the court wishes to proceed on that point, I will of course abide by those orders.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, any recommendations for disposition?
Thank you, Judge.
Public defenders,
Mr. Debellis has
prosecutors,
testified
judges
as to
don't get paid well.
what he is requesting the court to consider. I would just ask the court to consider that he stated he does have a drug and alcohol evaluation scheduled for Monday at 7th direction. He is hoping to keep that so that he can get his evaluation started or completed so he can move on with the case. He also has told the court he does have money he can pay on the case immediately. We ask the court to consider that and to consider the statements of Mr. Debellis and what he is asking the court to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I get that sense
Mr.
too.
Debellis, if you have $500 cash to pay on your case, why have you not done it?
I had to wait a week to get paid. I had to wait the first week and then I got paid on the second week, so it was bi-weekly. And the first week actually I had put all the money towards child support, so I really didn't have anything to kind of give you guys at first, and then I got my buddy paid me and he gave me a little extra because he knew my situation, and so I mean I could literally.
So when did he pay you?
He gave me the 500 today.
Just today. Okay. So you haven't had time to get to the courthouse?
No.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And that drug and alcohol evaluation was ordered on April 8th of 2022.
That is,
Why do you just now have it scheduled?
I had it scheduled prior to the ladies over there in Augusta, and I failed to get there on time. And I'd scheduled it once prior to them. And they're like, you can't just keep scheduling it and not showing up, And I told her, I was like, I'm extremely sorry. It's just I don't have a vehicle currently at the moment, so it was hard for me to kind of get over there. That's why I scheduled here in El Dorado, so it was, I can maneuver around here a little bit easier and take care of things. And I'm sorry it took
15 to 20 minutes. You live about 15 to 20 minutes from the facility where the evaluation was.
Yeah, from El Dorado to Augusta. The one that was in Augusta was hard to get to, so I decided to go with
because it was 15 to 20 minutes from your house.
Yes, and the evaluation's $150 out of pocket, so I just wanted to.
All right, so I ordered it on April 8th, and you didn't go out and get it. And I ordered it at your first revocation hearing, November 28th of 2022.
I'm regrettably sorry I didn't take care of those, Judge. I really am.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
You're
did you
gonna be.
first try to get your evaluation set up? It was
Right
after the second revocation?
It was right after I had spoken and met up with Sharon. I promised her I would take care of it and make the calls and everything like that. And I got it, and the soonest I was able to get in was with the gentleman's name is Matthew, up at 7th Direction.
Okay, but you're not answering my questions. When was the earliest you tried to make an appointment with the ladies in Augusta? Before or after Christmas?
I mean, it was like right around, I think it was after Christmas.
Sometime after the first of the year. Okay, so it was ordered in April, it was ordered in November, and sometime after Christmas, after the first of the year, you made an appointment, and then you skipped the appointment, and then you called them to make another appointment. And did you keep that appointment with the gals in Augusta? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, with the women in Augusta?
I had called them and told them that I would not be able to make it, and she understood, and that's when she had given me 7th Direction's number.
Okay, that was after 2 missed appointments with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So now, just here recently, you've made your appointment in El Dorado with 7th Direction.
Yes, I mean, not for
And
anything.
you live in El Dorado, and you have lived in El Dorado this whole time, correct?
Yes, I never knew of the place and where it was because I've never been in any correct or probation or anything. 33 years of my life, I didn't have any criminal record or anything until here recently. And
You've never.
It's on the other side of El Dorado.
That's why it's all been kind of so overwhelming for me, and like why I've been like scarce about doing it. Is because
Have you ever tried to drive across El Dorado?
Okay.
Seriously.
And when you entered into this plea agreement, you made lots of promises that you were going to take care of the evaluation. And when you entered into the agreement not to have your probation outright revoked the last time, you
I think she's
made
delaying
agreements and you still haven't.
to allow the
It's
sheriffs to
solid
get there.
year
I could be
since
wrong.
Sentencing. I'm not counting all the time it took us to get to sentencing.
my mental capacity wasn't stable, very stable at all at that point in time because I was in a rough
That I
patch in my
believe.
life, and I've just been trying to make my way up the ladder. And
Okay. So the alleged.
Yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's the mother of the 2 and the 4-year-old.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then who are these other 3 children with?
Those are her prior children that I've raised since almost 6 years now. Taught them everything from opening candy
sweet
bars to riding
Jesus.
bikes.
Okay.
So we throw
Do you
$7 million.
understand, sir, what a
charges.
break you got when they dismissed maybe a break, and maybe they didn't have evidence on the felony, but if they had evidence on the felony and they dismissed it for this plea, do you realize that would have been quite a break?
I mean, yes, I do, but
Yes or no? Okay, and you realize when they said, instead of making you serve the controlling 18 months at your revocation hearing, you only had to serve 10 days out of 14 recommended or required? You realize what a break that was?
it was a major break, Your Honor.
And now here we are, and you're making me lots of promises again, and so far you haven't kept any promises that I've heard out of you. And I've heard a lot.
I can have this money. I can have her run it down there right now. My buddy's wife will run it right down there right now and drop it off, and it'll be paid before we even get off the phone.
Notice he's not volunteering to come down.
Mr. Debellis, you told me the buddy wasn't there.
No, his wife is here. I said my buddy's wife could run it down there.
So if I order this 28-day jail sentence, plus 10 days that you didn't serve on the other for a total of 38, you're not going to go turn yourself in, are you?
I might freak out horribly
Yeah.
first.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, because you freak out and you don't go do what you're told you're going to do. And I can't just keep ignoring what you've got going on here, sir.
I completely understand your side. I really do. And I understand the state side. And I mean, you guys have all the right to throw me away and lock and throw away the key. And I completely understand that. I'm just please asking from the bottom of your guys' heart.
Okay, I am so tempted to just have you serve the full sentence, not just the amount recommended, but have you serve the full 1.5 years so that I don't have to keep having you come back here on promises that you don't keep. I'm really doubtful if you keep any of your promises this time, any more than you have the last 2 hearings you've made now.
Rieger, I
I give you the
stopped
promise
moving.
that if you ever see me in here again like this, you can lock me up for as long as you like.
Well, I'm going to order, finding that you are in violation of your probation, I am going to order that you surrender yourself today, go directly to the Butler County Detention Facility there on Stone Road, and you start 38 days, and that on 38 days from today, you be released back to probation for 12 months. And that you start making monthly, and that you pay $500 cash today to the clerk of the district court. And that you start making monthly payments, at least 1/6 of the total amount due each month for the next 6 months, starting with the close of business on April of this year. April, the last business day of this month. In all prior terms, and you're going to have to reschedule that alcohol and drug evaluation once again. And I'm not feeling too terribly bad about telling you to reschedule it, because I don't think you would have kept it in the first place. You've had so many times to keep it and you haven't. Now, if you were sitting in the courthouse, this would be real simple. I'd say, deputy or bailiff, take him into custody. You're sitting there, you kind of went up to me there because you're not at the courthouse where folks are supposed to be on show cause hearings. Make a note of that, counsel, that defendants on show causes are always supposed to appear at the courthouse for these hearings.
What benefit do I do the state?
Okay, we're not going to argue this, Mr. Debellis. We're not going to negotiate it. If you don't like it, I'll just say, serve the whole 18 months. And that's it. Now, I realize you can run away and you can hide from me and the judicial process, and maybe the Butler County Sheriff can find you, maybe the Sheriff of Alaska can find you if you decide to go there. But if you don't do what I tell you to do right now, you will, next time you face me, be ordered to serve the balance of the 18 months, the full 18 months. And by that time, your children will be fully grown. Well, no, they won't. That would be if they were 18 years. No, they'd be 18 months, and that would put them a lot older than they are at the stages you're thinking about. So, are you going to make me one more promise that you're going to have your friend's wife drive you to the courthouse, pay your case off, and surrender to the jail? Mr. Debellis?
I need some time, Judge.
All right, those are my orders. I want that arrest warrant prepared as soon as possible, Mr. Regier. And if he has to be picked up by the sheriff, we're going to call him back in here, and I'm going to make him serve the full 18 months.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else we can do.
I have given you so many chances, Mr. Debellis, and you tugged at my heartstrings on that issue of freaking out and bodysuit and what else. But at this point, this is a real break, a real privilege for you based on everything that you have failed to do at this point.
But I've been
I
showing
will also direct the sheriff's office to make sure that you get any mental health care that you need, anything else they can do to help you through this period. Where are you, Mr. Debellis? What are you doing? Are you going to turn yourself in? I'd ask that he be picked up as soon as possible.
Did they grab him right there?
Stands.
Did the sheriff just grab him?
My office will prepare the warrant, Your Honor. Also,
or he's just running right now.
Finalizing the journal entry in today's hearing, the 1/6 payment plan the court had ordered, is that beginning This month or
End of,
next?
end of April. And I don't know if the sheriff will honor my oral order to pick him up. If they have to have a piece of paper, but if they will orally honor my order, I want him picked up ASAP. He wouldn't give me his specific address. He said there a while ago, the general vicinity of where he was and whose home he was in. But for his sake and for the community's sake, I want him picked up as soon as possible.
Yes.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
sir. Your question, Mr. Regier.
Yeah, he threw the phone so he could run and not be tracked in
Anything
his
further, counsel?
drug-addled brain.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right. Thank you all for your time. Ms. Thiel, thank you for waiting. You're excused
Wow.
at this time. All
That
right,
was
the rest of
something.
you have waited since 8 o'clock this morning. Is there anybody that wants to continue their hearing as opposed to continuing to wait through the line? I think I should accommodate anybody that needs a continue. All right, now that's subject to why you're here. That's subject to why you're here. So let's talk about that first. The gentleman at the Butler County Jail, you raised your hand. What's your name, sir?
Judge, that is Eric Ward, and it's a pretty easy case we could take up really quick.
All right.
22 CR 492.
On the record in 2022 CR 492, State of Kansas versus Eric Lee Mackey Ward. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Eric Ward, who does appear from the Butler County Jail. Judge, in 22 CR 492, it was dismissed as a part of a overall plea bargain that there is a felony case also. He did plead to the felony case for this case being dismissed. That was confirmed by Mr. Regier in our conversation earlier.
Mr. Regier, when was this dismissed?
And if the journal entry hasn't been filed, I think he's already made the plea so that it's probably on its way to being filed, Judge.
All right, well, he was here January 25th, 2023. That was the only time he was here. So, Mr. Regier, it is dismissed by the state. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, Your
No, that
Honor.
was a cool hearing.
One moment, please.
I just came here for Edward Moon
I
because
do
he
have a
started
note.
taking his clothes off in the last hearing. But that was all bonus. That was
Criminal damage to property times two.
intense.
Right, I do have a note that from Ms. Norris, which this is her case, and it looks like this was dismissed per plea in 22 CR 390.
Okay, but it hasn't been journalized. Let's see if we can get that journal entry done soon, and we'll make a note of that in the docket. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Ward, I'm not going to continue your case. I'm just going to dismiss it on motion of the prosecutor. So, sir, you may go.
Oh, that's a good day right there.
All right. And who else raised their hand at that point? Anybody
Case
else that wanted
dismissed.
to
Life is
continue? Ms. McCoy, let's take a look at what you have going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the one that told me you hadn't talked to your attorney?
No, I have talked to him. I
Oh, okay.
did. I raised my hand on accident.
So you don't want to continue your case today?
I don't know if I could or not. I have a job
Well, let's
interview
go ahead.
here.
Let's go ahead and call it. We're on the record in 2022 TR 3993, State of Kansas versus Vanessa Lynn McCoy. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Vanessa McCoy. Ms. McCoy does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, I understand Ms. McCoy needs to be somewhere. If the court wants to continue it, that's fine. I would make the announcement, though, that this would be a case that will be for plea of guilty to the only count driving while suspended Class A non-person misdemeanor.
Do you want to go ahead and take care of that, Ms. McCoy, or do you have time? I don't want you to
Yeah,
miss
I
your problem.
I do have some time right now.
Okay. All right.
Good call.
So your attorney
Hard on
says
her
you want to enter a plea of guilty to driving while suspended after a prior conviction. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than the plea agreement?
No, ma'am. No, Your Honor. Sorry.
Not a problem. And you understand that with this plea agreement, you're waiving your right to a trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
Yes.
Okay. And you're pleading guilty? You're
Yes.
admitting that you drove on November 13th, 2022 in Butler County, Kansas without a license because the license was suspended?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you have a prior conviction at that time for driving while suspended?
I did when I was 18, I believe. But I have an unresolved traffic ticket out in Emporia, which resulted in my suspended because I had forgot about it because I live in Wichita. So that was an honest mistake. And I plan on fully getting it taken care of.
Very good. And do you understand, do you remember where you were when the officer stopped you or you got the ticket?
Yes, Your Honor. I was picking up my friend from Augusta. She was in a bad situation. I know that gave me absolutely no right to be driving. But I was just trying to be, and I had a light that was missing. So they pulled me over for that reason. They didn't charge me for it and I went to jail. And I did know that my license was suspended at that time, but then I figured out it was my unresolved speeding ticket in Kansas or Emporia.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that information. I will find you guilty as charged. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Regier.
Your Honor, pursuant to plea negotiations, the state is recommending a 6 months underlying sentence, 10 days of house arrest with work release, $100 fine, 108 court costs. I'll of course defer to the court on the issue of court-appointed attorney fees. For
Zach.
probation, the state is recommending 12 months reporting as well as the $60 probation fee.
Anything further, Mr. Patterson, before sentencing?
We'd ask the court to adopt the recommendations, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. McCoy, you aren't employed at this time. You're going out to look for work?
I'm going out to look for work. I have a job interview as a janitor at my grandpa's job. So I'm actually just putting a down deposit later today with my roommate. So I'm getting a new house to get my girls and everything situated. I had recently broke up from my kid's father. So I'm getting out on my own and stuff.
Okay.
From being a stay-at-home mom for a few years. So my kids are young.
All right. At this time, I am going to sentence you to 6 months in the county jail with a $100 fine, $108 court cost. I will waive attorney fees. You will get a 12-month non-reporting probation. But if you don't want to serve the 6-month jail sentence, you have to do the following. First of all, violate no laws during this 12-month of any kind. Number 2, get signed up for that 10 days house arrest within, and I want you to start that within 7 days. You can have work release, but that's it. Go straight to and from. Don't stop and goof off at a convenience store or something like that.
I do have a question. So I do have to do the 12 months or 6 months of jail time?
You do not have to actually serve that as long as you do 10 days of house arrest with work release starting within 7 days. You have to have that set up and started. The only reason you're going to be in jail in your house for 10 days. I don't want you having any parties, any booze, nothing like that. You're going to be in jail. And if I found out otherwise,
I will have my kids.
Real jail. Okay. Yeah. And if you don't want to do the 6 months, you not only have to stay in 10 days house arrest with work release, that means electronic monitoring. So get that started within 7 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Patterson can tell you all about EMD. Don't violate any laws. And then you have to get the total of 208 paid. And I'm going to give you a pay or appear date of June 5th. You have June 5th to get that paid to the clerk of the district court, June 5th at 9. Hopefully that'll give you time to get a job, get on your feet. Now, if you come back here June 5th and tell me you've done and can prove to me you've done absolutely everything you can and you've made a good faith payment to pay a few dollars here and there every week, I'll consider that. But otherwise, I expect you to have it all paid June 5th at 9 a.m. or be in violation of your probation. Any questions about any of that? Where'd you go? Did I lose her? Oh, where did she go? We were doing so well. All right. Well, those are the orders, Mr. Patterson. If you can, when you have time, catch back up with her and make sure she knows how to pay that and so forth.
We will, Judge. We'll make sure she gets the phone number for probation and for electronic monitoring. And
Actually,
see what she does those.
I told her non-reporting. Did you all recommend?
Oh, is it-
reporting? I told her, normally we put them on reporting, but I gave her the benefit of non-reporting, so,
Okay. Well, I'll make sure she gets the number for electronic monitoring.
okay. And Mr. Regier, if you make sure you get proof that she's done that, well, we can check on that at her pay
Did you
or
want me
appear.
to give her the date for pay or appear, Judge?
Pay or appear, and she has to prove to the state by that date that she's done both her electronic monitoring house arrest and her payment, both of those.
What date is that, Judge?
June 5th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else that's like really short on time? I mean, everybody wants to go next. I know that. Mr. Gallegos has been trying to get this done for a long
Not on
time.
time. I have a physical therapy appointment at 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'll get you right after Mr. Gallegos, Mr. Canfield. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Libby, you're welcome. On the record in 2022 CR 73, State of Kansas versus Gage Michael Gallegos. State by Jared Regier, Mr. Gallegos in person and with Darren Patterson. Announcements, Mr. Patterson.
Your Honor, my conversation with Mr. Gallegos is that he does want to enter a plea of no contest to the only charge, which is theft.
Is that right, Mr. Gallegos?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, ma'am. That's fine with me. What's that
Well,
reason?
how would you pronounce it?
Gallegos.
Gallegos. Okay. I can appreciate that. All right, Mr. Gallegos, how do you wish to plead then to
No contest.
one, theft of property or services, no contest? Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threat or promise other than maybe a plea agreement?
No, ma'am.
And you understand you're giving up your right to trial as well as your right to appeal conviction with this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have a factual basis to support this plea, Mr. Regier?
Yes, Your Honor. Pursuant to the affidavit with the affiant being Troy D. Brown, it looks like the affiant responded to a call from Walmart on February 8th of 2022. Give me, Your Honor. It looks like this particular defendant was identified in a lineup after he was observed there was a transaction that was suspended, and let's see.
So he's trying to buy something at Walmart?
It looks like actually that the defendant began pushing a cart with various merchandise towards the exit, and then he was subsequently identified.
Okay, so he pushed his stuff out the door and didn't pay for it?
It would appear so, Your Honor. And it looks like the affiant was told that the check did not go through.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to know more about this. Let me see if I can find, because if he wrote him a check and the check didn't go through, that's a whole different charge. Here's an affidavit, March 3rd of 2020.
I didn't write no check.
Yeah, let me check. Let me look at the affidavit. I'm trying to put Mr. Regier on the spot, trying to get him to crash read something he's probably never laid eyes on before because he probably didn't file a charge. Okay, so this goes back to Troy D. Brown being the affiant, apparently an officer of the law, that on Tuesday, February 18th, 9:47 in Walmart, as Mr. Regier said, and that's the one in Augusta. Apparently, the defendant filled his cart full of groceries and went out the door without payment. And the officer arrived on the scene, investigated the reports, but it does talk about a worthless check. So
But I didn't even know.
Mr. Gallegos, hold on. For no contest, please. We'll just stand quiet.
Zip it.
And Your Honor, and that is what the affidavit I'm showing is, that I have before me is showing, and notwithstanding the worthless check, the only charge currently for the court is the charge of theft or for what appears to be groceries out of the Walmart in Augusta.
Well, but that you have to apply the more specific charge, and the more specific charge would be presenting a worthless check if he paid for them, but the
Judge,
deputy.
can I
Yes,
intervene?
help.
We would be stipulating to the affidavit for purposes of the no contest plea, but I would tell the court after review of the affidavit, this was at the Walmart in Augusta, that there's allegedly 2 individuals there. That Mr. Gallegos was one of those. The female was the one using a check that was no good, and also a credit card, debit card that didn't go through. And then Mr. Gallegos pushed the cart of groceries out into the parking lot. They both then loaded up and left, and nothing was ever paid according to the affidavit, Judge.
Okay, that works. That makes sense.
And
Okay.
I thought everything was paid for because everything was bagged up.
All right, well, if that's your case, if you're saying you didn't know that it hadn't been paid for, then that's a defense and you can plead not guilty and take it to trial. But I thought, Mr. Gallegos, you said through your attorney and through yourself that you wanted to plead no contest. That means you don't admit it or deny it. So, Mr. Patterson, back to you.
Judge, I would tell the court previously he did want to plead no contest. I would be happy to enter a plea of not guilty if that's what he wants to do and set it for trial. Mr. Gallegos, do you want to set it for trial?
No, we're just going to take care of it right now.
Okay.
Well, now, if you didn't, did you,
Look, I'm on corrections already in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm in a residential program. I get out in 3 days.
we
Oh,
want to set
sweet
this over,
Jesus.
Mr. Patterson, so you guys can have time to talk a little more. Sounds like he's got a lot at stake. It's running late in the day. I don't want to rush through this by any means and have him have significant consequences.
Judge, that would be fine with me.
Mr. Gallegos, what do you think?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Mr. Regier?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
All right, let's set this over to June 5th at 9 a.m. Yeah, because if you thought they were paid for, that's a whole different ballgame. All right, so we'll be in recess. Mr. Gallegos may go. I told Mr. Canfield I'd take him
What
up.
time on June 5th? At 8?
9 a.m. Oh, yeah, you better be here at 8 for Mr. Patterson,
All right.
unless he tells you otherwise.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with you, Mr. Gallegos.
Okay.
I want to see if John's going to show up in
All
the
right,
Sally
now
court
we'll
before
be
this
on the
call's done.
record in 2022 CR 457, State of Kansas versus Michael James Canfield, state by Assistant County Attorney Jared Regier, defendant in person and by counsel Darren Patterson. Mr. Patterson, how does your client wish to proceed for criminal damage to property and criminal trespass?
Judge would ask to have it set for a jury trial. I would also tell the court that we have contacted the county attorney's office and have requested the personal recording device of the officers, so that that is also something we're asking to have prior to the trial date.
All right, I'm going to order that those be presented or be made available if they exist. In the meantime, we have a pre-trial set for June 12th at 9 a.m. That will be by Zoom. We have jury trial set June 14th through 15th. Is that right, Savannah?
Yep, that's correct.
June 14th through 15th, 9 a.m. Savannah, are you okay staying with me? Do you need
Yeah, I'm
to-
good, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so that is what we'll do, Mr. Canfield. Now, the jury trial is live and you'll have to be here for that, but the pretrial can still be by Zoom, June 12th, 9 a.m.
The June 14th through 15th actual trial, what time do I need to be there? 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
Well, I'm gonna start addressing the jury at 9, so whatever you work out with Mr. Patterson will be appropriate.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You may go, sir.
Thank you very much.
And Judge, can I get the date for that pretrial hearing again, please?
Sure, it's June 12th.
Oh, thank you so much, Diana.
And Judge Leo Velte is also for setting for jury trial.
Very
All right,
generous.
let's take up, how do you spell the last name?
V as in Victor, ELTE.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Who was that?
Vanessa McCoy, my phone died when I was getting that, and I did not grab.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
did not have the phone number I need to call to get my house arrest.
And you have a pen handy?
I do.
Phone number is 316-322-0021.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That's all I needed.
Now, Ms. McCoy, while you're back, I'm going to clarify. The recommendation was for reporting probation with supervision fees. I did not order that. So you need to make sure that you provide proof of completion of the house arrest with electronic monitoring and proof of payment by that pay or appear date. And do you have that?
The 208, I don't know if that was the full total, but by
It was, and by that date I gave you, I believe it was June 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
9 a.m. Okay, so you need to get proof to your attorney and to the state that you've done both of those things by that date.
Yes, ma'am. And if I do have them done, do I still need to show up for court?
No, you do not.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Honor. I really appreciate it.
Okay, just don't get any more violations of law, and I would suggest you get that license reinstated, even though
Yes.
I haven't made it an order.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
If there's
Thank
nothing
you.
further, you may go.
Vanessa, you seem very reasonable.
Mr. Canfield, you can go. I'll be in touch.
You're killing my
Thank
stream
you, sir.
with your rational approach.
So
No,
that
run
was
along.
Vernon that wants a jury trial?
Leo Velti.
Oh, I
V-
see. Got it. We're on the record in 2022 CR 485, State of Kansas versus Leo Gage Velti, Jared Regier for the state, defendant with Darren Patterson. Mr. Velti, where are you? There you are. I understand, Mr. Velti, you're wanting a jury trial. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Patterson, does that pretrial work for the June 12th? And
Those
the
dates
jury-
work, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Velti, you'll need to be back here by Zoom for your pretrial, June 12th at
Okay.
8 a.m. or whenever Mr. Patterson tells you. That's by Zoom for the pretrial on a Monday, but your jury's trial will start on a Wednesday. You must be at the Butler County Courthouse. I'm going to start the jury at 9 a.m. on June 14th and 15th. So make sure you know when Mr. Patterson wants you and where he wants you on those dates.
You said June 14, 15, and you said at the
At the
courthouse.
courthouse. That's for the actual physical jury trial when you have the jurors sitting there. But you have to come in the Monday before that by Zoom at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Well,
I'll be in touch with you, Mr. Velti.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
okay, thank you, sir. You may go. And I saw someone still sitting there at the jail, did I?
Yes, Judge, we have Mr. Cortez at the jail.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. We're on the record in 2023 CR 66, State of Kansas versus Gerardo H. Cortez. Please announce appearances.
Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Gerardo Cortez, who does appear from the Butler County Jail. Tell the court at this time, Mr. Cortez does wish to enter a plea of no contest to the charge of violation of protective order, Class A person misdemeanor.
Is that correct, Mr. Cortez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone making you enter this plea today by any kind of threats or promises other than maybe a plea agreement?
Oh, no.
You understand if you continue with this plea, you're giving up your rights to a trial as well as your right to appeal a conviction.
I understand.
Okay. And since this is no contest, Mr. Regier, have you the factual basis? Or do you want to rely on looks like there's a February 10th, 2023 affidavit?
We would stipulate to the affidavit for purposes of the no contest plea, Your Honor.
All right, let me take a quick look at that.
And Your Honor, it would also appear pursuant to the same that that the affiant in this matter did contact the reporting party and the victim, who states, quote, that the defendant was in the house and that there was a PFA out of Louisiana against the defendant for domestic violence.
And it is that Louisiana PFA, looks like it's 228,791D that he violated out of Louisiana. So I will find that there is a basis to support the no contest, finding the defendant guilty of this Class A person misdemeanor, recommendations for sentencing.
Your Honor, pursuant to plea agreement, the state would be recommending 6 months underlying, no fine but court costs, as well as 1 year reporting probation and no contact continuing with the victim. I would also suggest, for purposes of clarifying the record, it would appear that the defendant does, or rather the victim does not appear in court today. However, I am showing in my files anyway that a notification letter was sent out notifying her of today's hearing.
And that pleas could be taken at these hearings, I think is standard language in your notices. So I take that as a notice to the victim under the victim's rights to be here. Anything further, Mr. Patterson, before I pronounce sentence?
No, Your Honor, we'd ask the court to adopt recommendations. I am court appointed, so the court would need to take up the issue of attorney fees.
Mr. Cortez, did I see that you've been working at the refinery? Are you here on a turnaround, or what's your employment?
Yes, I'm here on a turnaround.
All right. So you are employed, it sounds like.
Yes.
At this time, your sentence will be 6 months in the Butler County Jail. Credit for time served. I'm not going to issue a fine, but you will have court costs of $158. Probation supervision fees of $60. And I'm going to order that you pay $100 into the domestic violence offender fund, since I'm not making you pay court costs. Your probation will be for 1 year. It will be reporting. So make sure you check with your probation officer before you leave town and give them your current address and get any instructions and orders they have. Where do you live? What state?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, okay. Anything else? Oh, and no contact with the victim in this case. Comply with any orders remaining if there be, and the restraining order out of the other state. Mr. Regier, anything else I need to address?
Your Honor, I have neglected to mention it, but I believe counsel for the defense did state that he is retained on this matter, so I'll of course defer to the court on the.
No,
I think he said he was
court appointed.
Appointed.
Forgive me.
And so I do need to address that. He's going to pay $250 towards his court appointed attorney fees too. And those all need to be paid by June 5th, 2023. If you don't have them paid by 9 a.m., you have to be present at the Butler County Courthouse, sir. June 5th, 2023, 9 a.m. Have them paid or be here. And probation can help you know the exact amount. But you're going to have at least a $60, $158, and $100 fee. All right, if there's nothing further, we are in recess on Cortez.
Your Honor, there is one other thing.
Yes, sir.
I do have a note in the file which suggests that on first appearance, which was before Judge Rickey, the court had originally set it for the 24th. I'm assuming that 24th of April hearing date is no longer needed.
I would
concur with that. Yes.
I would make that the order, but it is no longer needed. We can remove that. All right, sir, unless you have any questions, you may go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else that we can get on their way soon? There was a lady that hadn't talked to Mr. Patterson. Was that you, Ms. Callison? Alicia Callison, on the record in 2022 TR 1914, State of Kansas versus Alicia and Callison, County Attorney Jared Revigier for state, Ms. Callison in person, and with court appointed attorney Darren Patterson. We're looking at one charge of violation of restrictions on driver's license permit.
And Judge, I would agree that I have not spoke to her. We have not discussed the case, but I do not have a good phone number for her. So she would need to call my office immediately after this hearing and make sure we have all her current contact information.
So that explains why if you're not hearing from them, they need to make sure they have the most up-to-date information on you. So I'm going to set this over to June 5th, 9 a.m. by Zoom. Call his office and make sure you talk to him before that next date. But they have to know how to get a hold of you.
June 5th, right?
All right, you can go now, Miss Callison.
All right.
You have my phone number, ma'am?
No. Hang on.
Okay, make sure and take this down. 316
316
322
322.
7700. Make sure you call it right after this hearing.
All right. All right. Thank you.
I thought Miss Callison told me the two of you have been playing kind of phone tag.
No, I called once and I didn't get a hold of them, is what it was. And I'm sure they called me back, but I mean, I've been busy with my new job and my mom, so I really haven't.
Don't be too busy for next time.
I won't. I didn't mean to be busy. Thank you.
You may go, Miss Callison. Will now be on the record in 2022 CR 357 and 2022 TR 3479, both State of Kansas versus Bonnie Lynn Dargatz. Jared Regier for the state, Mr. Patterson for Miss Dargatz. Is Miss Dargatz here?
And Judge, I don't believe she's on here, and I don't believe I've had any contact from her. Yes, we don't have any contact from her, Judge.
Okay, we're looking at.
Have you ever had a failure to appear?
Well, suspended after prior. She was here on that case, the 357 on 127-23. That's when I told her who her attorney was. She said she was trying to get disability, hasn't worked since 21. And then in the other case, Three, 3479 was another driving while suspended after prior. That was in September 2022.
I hope so.
Recommendations for failure to appear, Mr. Regier, and her failure to contact her attorney.
Your Honor, on 22 TR 3479, it looks like the defendant had previously posted a 1,000 professional surety bond with A-Mama bail bonds. That looks like that was executed back in January. State would recommend that amount to be double, 2,000 cash or surety. For the 22 CR 357, it looks like the defendant had likewise bonded in that case with A-Mama bail bonds. I believe that it was posted on or about the same day, January 17th. 500 professional surety. State would recommend bond forfeiture bench warrant, doubling it to 1,000 cash or surety.
This is not the first time she's had issues with attendance and multiple bonds. So those are made the orders of the court. 357 bond forfeiture bench warrant, new bond 1,000, and 2022 TR 3479 bond forfeiture bench warrant, $2,000 cash or surety. Nothing further. Will be in recess on Dargatz. On the record in 22 TR 2729, State of Kansas versus Kylie Marie Duncan. State by Jared Regier, Darren Patterson for the defendant. Miss Duncan, are you here? Miss Duncan was last year, January 30th.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You need to start your video, Miss Duncan.
Yep, I got it.
All right. Have you talked to your attorney since I saw you January 30th?
Judge, we have discussed the case. I would announce at this time that she is going to enter a plea of guilty to speeding 75 and a 65, as well as not having the ignition interlock in. The state's agreed to dismiss the registration and also the no insurance.
Okay, Mr. Regier, that's your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Duncan, that's your ignition?
Yes.
So how do you plead to speeding 75 and a 65?
Guilty.
How do you plead to operating a motor vehicle without required ignition interlock device following a DUI?
Guilty.
So you're admitting both of these?
Yes.
And did this happen August 29th of 2022 in Butler County?
Yes, it did.
And where were you when the officers found you to be driving without your ignition interlock and speeding?
Driving from Augusta to Mulvane. I don't know exactly the location. I was in
Okay,
Butler
Miss-
County.
All
It
right,
was
Mr.
Highway 77, Your Honor, at milepost 45, it looks like.
Okay,
And Your Honor, that would appear to be, forgive me, Your Honor. Yeah, that would appear to be south of Augusta between Douglas in the middle of Butler County.
okay. All right, I find the defendant guilty. Recommendations for sentencing.
Your Honor, for the speeding, the state would recommend the scheduled fine. As far as that is concerned, for the no ignition interlock, the state would recommend a fine of $100. I believe the plea agreement would be 6 months, as well as non-reporting probation for 12 months. The state offers that in lieu of the statutory requirements regarding the ignition interlock over a period of 5 years.
Okay, say that again. $45 on the speeding, which is the schedule. 100 on the ignition interlock, court costs, which would be 108, and you said 6 months controlling.
I believe so, Your Honor, as well as 12 months non-reporting probation. The non-reporting probation is in part due to the statutory requirements regarding the 5 years of the ignition interlock device.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, I would just tell the court that she does have the ignition interlock in now. She's shown me the certificate and I have that. She's also got her vehicle registered and does have insurance.
Okay. All right, Ms. Duncan, I will order on count 1 that you pay the scheduled fine of $45. On count 2, $100 and 6 months in jail. Court costs of $108. Your probation will be for 12 months, non-reporting. And where do you work?
I do medical records and billing for a company called Physician House Calls of Kansas.
You'll pay $250 towards your court-appointed attorney fees.
Okay.
Looks like your total is around $500.
Okay.
I'm going to order that be paid by June 5th.
Okay.
2023 at 9 a.m. If that's not paid, you have to be here in court.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about your probation and the effect of it on the 12-month non-reporting probation.
Okay.
Another condition of your probation is that you violate no laws of any kind throughout this probation, or you could end up having it revoked and serve the 6 months.
Okay.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Regier?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Duncan, do you know where to pay that?
I do not think so, but I have a pen to write it down.
Okay, clerk of the district court. And that is their phone number where you can get the information is 316-322-4370. They are located at 201 West Pine, like the pine tree. El Dorado 670.
I have to land this.
If you want to mail your payment. If you want to pay online, it's paykscourts.com. That's PAYKS for Kansas, COURTS.com.
Okay.
All right. There's nothing further. We'll be in recess and you're excused, Ms. Duncan.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
You're welcome.
Will now be on the record in 2022 TR 3176, State of Kansas versus Fakiri Zarizo Gadabazi. Please announce appearances.
Here, Regier, on behalf of the state.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Darren Patterson appearing with Mr. Gadabazi, who does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, in this case, I would announce pursuant to plea negotiations, Mr. Gadabazi is going to enter a plea of no contest to count 1. States agreed to dismiss count 2.
Mr. Regier, is that right? You're going to dismiss count 2 motor carrier in exchange for count 1?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gadabazi, are you a commercial truck driver?
Yes.
And you're charged with 2 counts of violation of motor carrier safety rules and regulations on 9/22 of 22 in Butler County, Kansas. You're pleading no contest to the first count.
Yes.
Is anyone making you enter this plea of guilty to count 1?
No.
You understand if you continue with this plea, you're giving up your right to your trial as well as your right to appeal conviction?
No.
So do you want a trial?
Yes.
Do you know that a trial means the burden will be on the state to call witnesses and testify against you, and that they will have to prove that you did this? Is that what you're wanting?
Yep.
Judge, I thought I had good communication with him. His primary language is Swahili. It could be better that we would continue this to the interpreter docket and make sure we have a Swahili interpreter ready for that case.
I would say you are correct. Savannah, when's our next interpreter docket?
It should
It is solid.
May 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
Mr. Gadabazi, you need to be back here May 30th at, what time did you say, 1:30?
No, he did
1:30,
not.
And it's May 3rd.
May 3rd, May
Yeah.
3, May 3rd at
Mhm.
1:30. Be back here by Zoom, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Patterson will talk to you some more about the charges at that time. Mr. Patterson, do you want him to have his witnesses here just in case?
This
he
call
goes
is
to trial?
everywhere.
Judge, I am confident where we're going with the case, but some of the legal terms I think he's having trouble with.
Okay, very well.
We got a runner.
All right, and we'll have a Swahili interpreter at the time. Yes, Mr.
We got a
Regier?
Swahili interpreter issue.
I'm assuming that that particular hearing is set for control, not bench trial.
Right, that's what I was just considering
ChatGPT
with Mr. Patterson, and he said yes.
has made
control,
Rager
not
a little
bench
more
trial.
lifelike.
He thinks you have the agreement, but the client may not understand.
There's a
the
lot
terms
going on
you're
here.
using. So we're gonna have a Swahili interpreter here to help him.
Very good, Ron.
So don't bring your witnesses in. Okay, well now you may go, Mr. Gadabazi.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Will now be on the record in 2022 CR 452, State of Kansas versus Darla Jean Gay Rabbenick. The state by Gerardo Regier, defendant in person and with her attorney, Darren Patterson. Mr. Patterson, how does your client wish to proceed?
Your Honor, this is a case where we are going to file a motion to suppress. I would ask the court to allow it to be set over to a new court date so I can get that on file.
All right, I'm going to set this to June 5th, but if you could get that motion to suppress set on maybe the 1:30 docket, traffic dockets, that would help.
I will get it on file and then get with who should I contact to get that set?
How about if we just do this? Can we put it on sometime after the first part of June? Other than that, help me out here, Savannah. Let's just go ahead and set it for suppression hearing at 1:30 on a traffic docket, and let's put it on.
I can do.
Is it May 7th?
Oh
or May
no,
10th?
but I
Does
don't
that
do
work?
criminal.
May 10th you're at 6, so that might be pushing it. May 17th though, would not?
May
Yeah,
17 works for me, Judge.
Counsel for the state, May 17th at 1:30.
Objection, Your Honor.
And Mr. Patterson, if you give the state at least 30 days between now and then.
Yes,
to
Judge.
respond? Okay. All right, so the motion must be on file no later than April 17th at 1:30 And the hearing on the motion to suppress will be May 17th at 1:30. Ms. Rabbenick, make sure you stay in touch with your attorney between now and then so he can communicate with you any that he needs to.
Okay, so you said May 10th.
The date you need to worry about is May 17th. We changed it to May 17th at 1:30.
Okay.
All right. Nothing further. Ms. Rabbenick may go.
Okay.
Rabbenick. Thank you. On the record in 2022 TR 1242, State of Kansas versus Evelyn Chase Hill. The state by Jared Regier, Mr. Hill with Darren Patterson. How does Mr. Hill wish to proceed at this time, Mr. Patterson?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Mr. Hill, are you here?
I am.
All right. Have you had a chance to talk to Mr. Patterson, Mr. Hill?
I apologize, Judge. I was muted. The diversion has been filed with the court, so it has to close the case for now.
Okay, the contract is on file.
Yes, Judge.
I won't close the case till it completes the diversion, and I know what you meant, so I'm going to take it off the docket at this time.
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Regier.
I have a note in the file which suggests that that this hearing is has another issue. It's in regards to the defendant going to get booked in. I'm not sure.
That's not good. All right, that's not good, Mr. Hill.
I'm sorry.
You did not follow my order to go out to the Butler County Jail and get your picture and prints taken. Is that true?
Not at all. There was a warrant for my arrest and I went and returned myself in. I have a cash surety bond with what are they called? It's the Nail family.
Hot Rod.
Yes, Hot Rod. And so I've already been processed at Butler County. I did that a month ago now. As I understood it, previous to this hearing, we had already discussed that matter and I was back on track to just complete my diversion. I've since paid all of my fines and all I have left to do for that is to get my license.
Okay.
And Your Honor, upon further review of the file of that, it would appear that there was an appearance bond previously executed in this matter, so I will respectfully withdraw on that.
Hold on, Mr. Regier, because I'm showing.
Does he have black fingernails?
Why don't you take a look at those? I'm showing that Hot Rod did post a bond November 30th for $500.
In the house.
Okay, and that must be, Savannah, that 913 up above that for some reason is flagged in red. Looks like it's the same thing. Is that right?
I'm not seeing what you're seeing with that.
Did you go into bonds on Mr. Devlin Hill?
Oh.
I don't know what that means. I frankly just don't know what it means.
I think Hot Rod's the name of the bonding company.
500.
Could be wrong.
That would just mean that it was cash.
Only because I've heard it before.
Hot Rod, but cash. So did he post it twice? Did you put up 500 cash, Mr. Hill?
The bond was for 500. I paid 150.
All right. Well, we'll figure that one out. Make a note to figure that out later. All right. Nothing further. Mr. Hill may go at this time, and we'll take this off of today's docket. Thank you, Mr. Hill. We'll now be on the record in 2022 TR 2412, State of Kansas versus Dylan Scott Holloway.
No!
Mr. Regier for the state, Mr. Patterson for the defendant, who appears in person and pro se. How does Mr. Holloway wish to proceed on all of these charges, Mr. Patterson?
Judge, Mr. Holloway is going to be getting me some more information that can help out in this case, so would ask court to allow it to be continued for that reason.
Mr. Holloway, you were first seen by this court November 9th of 2022. In court time, that's a long time, so make sure you get whatever you're going to get to him soon.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll set this over to June 5th. You need to be here at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Mr. Regier, anything further?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. I would ask counsel for the defense to be in touch with me as soon as he is able. As the court has already indicated, this is a somewhat aging case, and the state is eager to have this case resolved.
Yes. All right. We'll continue the defendant on his $2,500 bond with the condition that he stay in touch with his attorney and be back here on the date given. Nothing further. We'll be in recess on Holloway. We'll now be on the record in 1997 TR 3208, State of Kansas versus Muhammad Ismail.
What?
The state appears by and through Assistant County Attorney Jared Regier. Mr. Ismail, you need to start your audio video. You're here on attempting to operate a motor vehicle without a valid license back on September 11th, 1997.
Yes,
Last
ma'am.
time
Yes.
you were here, you had an attorney, and Mr. Patterson was appointed. So, Mr. Patterson, where are we now?
Well, Judge, I was going to file a state v. Washington, and I was just trying to figure out who the officer was to see if we have an officer even around here anymore. But I think it's a good state v. Washington case that I'll get on file pretty quick, Judge.
Oh, who issued this ticket, Mr. Regier? Can you find that before I do?
Your Honor, it looks like the ticket was originally issued back in September of 1997. The signature is somewhat difficult. The signature is somewhat difficult to read.
It's Deputy 34, it looks like, from the sheriff's office. If I didn't know better, I'd say that looks like Stan Cox, but that's surely not right. Deputies, do you know who number 34 is or was in 1997? I'll bet you know.
She might be having Luna wait
Miss Deputy Spickler, who was number 34?
because she's not
in
sure if he'll
97?
behave.
Probably Stan Cox.
That's what I thought that looked like. Is he still somewhere around?
Yeah, he lives in Leon, Kansas. Do you have his signature there?
I do. I don't know how to screen share it. Do you? It's that little S and then the little S with the kind of two loopy loops.
I seriously thought this stream would be 20 minutes long.
Screenshot. It sounds like that's probably his signature.
But then we got a
That's what
runner
I
in the
thought it
middle.
was when I saw it, but it's been a while. Yeah. If I knew how to screenshot it, I would. Clerk, can you do that for him?
Yeah, I can do that. Do you want me to email it to them or?
Just if you can just screenshot the ticket, just the bottom part of the ticket, the signature, or you can email it, whatever works. But I'd like to know right now for sure for Mr. Patterson.
That really did save the
Do you
stream.
want me to share my screen?
That was riveting.
That worked.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can kind of keep from showing the personal information about the defendant. I don't know if you can.
I think Luna's too tired to act up.
Okay, do you see it?
There you go. Nope. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is. What do you think, Deputy Spickler?
I'm trying to go there. Come on.
Can you see that right above the red district?
Your Honor?
Yep, it's Stan Cox. Okay, thank you. He's still around.
It's Stan
Thank
Cox.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Judge, I still think it's a state v. Washington, so I'll just get it on file.
Okay, we'll see what the state can present. All right, so Mr. Ismail, you need to be back here. What did I say? June. Can I give him a date?
Not yet.
Let's set that for that May 17th at 1:30. Because if you think it is State v. Washington, you'll be making a motion on them. Those aren't usually too involved. Let's set that, sir. You need to be back here May 17th at 1:30. Did you get that, Mr. Ismail?
Yes. Can I ask a question, Honor? Can I just pay the ticket what I owe?
Can you pay what you owe on that? Let's see. Let me look at that. The Attempt to operate a motor vehicle without a valid license. That's with KSA 8-144 apparently, without pulling that back up. A C or unclassified misdemeanor, which carries up to 30 days in jail, although probation is usually given. And it carries a fine of anywhere from $50 to up to $2,500. $50 is usually given with the 108 court costs and $250 in attorney fees. Do you want to talk to Mr. Patterson about possibly doing that today? I can give you a private moment.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, I'm going to give you a private breakout room for just a short
Yes,
moment.
Judge.
Thank you.
Breakup one. The breakup one.
Join.
Should see an invitation to blackout room and you just click on it. It looks like you got it. Okay, everybody else here is Mr. Patterson's client, yes?
Oh, sweet Jesus. What?
How can I help you, sir?
Hello, Your Honor.
Hi, do you know you've got your hand up? How can I help you, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I got a piece of paper here from the driver services, and it says they'll be back with me in 7 to 10 business days. You said something about continuance earlier.
Okay. Have you talked to Mr. Patterson today?
Not yet, Your Honor.
And is he your attorney?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so you're basically going to be asking for continuance?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get back with the division to show some good sign on my case.
Okay. When he comes back, we'll see if we can take that up. Mr. Luna, you're doing very well today. Thank you for not misbehaving like last time.
Well, that's good for Judge Webster, but it's not good for Law Talk with Mike. He's got to pull a button to the top. Oh, good Lord.
Mr. Regier, you can be ready for traffic trials at 1:30?
I don't know if Luna heard her.
That's only 15 minutes away.
Yes, dated.
Figure out what we're going to do about that.
He's got a smile.
Do you need a break, Mr. Regier or Savannah? Anybody need a break?
All circuits
I'm okay
intact.
right now, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Regier, if you want to take a break, we can sure do it. Like a short break.
I think I'm all right, Your Honor.
All right.
God bless
Hey,
you.
Your Honor, my name's
Yes.
Gabrielle Yergi.
Yes,
Is
Miss
there any way we could do mine soon? Because at 9 o'clock when I got on here, I just got off of a 13-hour shift.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
I haven't gotten any sleep today, and I have to get my kids here in a little bit, but I haven't talked to Darren yet. So I don't know if it's
really
going to
is.
be resolved today or if I have to get a new court date or what.
Okay, let me see if I can take a quick look at that and make any determinations. DUI, TOC, transporting.
The
I'm
last
saying.
time I talked to him was like to do my drug and alcohol evaluation and all that.
Did
and
you
I
get
already
that
did.
done?
Yeah,
did
I
that?
already did that, and I paid the $150, and then I already paid $250.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
to
let me
do-
hold
video.
let me hold you up there instead of
You
having
just
you go
start
into
taking
all
it
that.
off in court.
Let's take up, let's finish where we were and then I'll swing back by. I hear your needs and we'll try to take this
Mr.
up.
Ismail, your honor is back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would ask that it be set for the motion to dismiss on State v. Washington, Judge.
Okay, and I gave you the date of May 17th at 1:30 for that.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr.
May
Ismail,
17th. Yes.
you may go with that, go now, but you have to be back here by Zoom at that date and time.
May 17 at 1:30, you said?
Yes, and that will be by Zoom again.
Yeah, what time?
1:30, 1:30.
I know.
1:30 Kansas time, Honor.
Kansas time, yes.
Oh, okay, Kansas time.
Okay, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Honor. Thanks, Mr. Patterson.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll be in recess on Ismail. We will now be on the record in 2020. Well, let's see, somebody, okay, the lady that has, okay, let's take up Gabrielle Yergi, and then we'll swing back to Mr. Shellhorn. On the record in 2022 TR 3473, State of Kansas versus Gabrielle Yergi. Please announce appearances.
Here we go. On behalf of the state.
Would you leave?
Mr. Ismail, you can
go,
leave.
Mr. Ismail. Yes, you may go, sir.
Yes,
Judge,
please do.
Derek Patterson appearing on behalf of Gabrielle Yergi. I would tell the court that she has turned in everything she needs for a diversion application, including drug and alcohol. Just ask the court to let me settle for one additional time to get the diversion contract and payment made for that.
And I think that's what she was wanting to tell me. She's got some issues she needs to be going. So June 5th at 8 a.m. Is that when you want her back?
That's fine, Judge.
You'll need to either have that all completed or be back here June 5th at 8 a.m. Stay in touch with Mr. Patterson so he can tell you if you need to be back here or not.
Okay,
All right, thank you, Ms. Yergi. You may go.
thank
And then
you.
we'll you're welcome. Then we'll take up Shellhorn. On the record in 2022 TR 1249, State of Kansas versus Michael Dillon Shellhorn. Please announce appearances.
Jerry Gear on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appearing on behalf of Michael Shellhorn. Mr. Shellhorn does appear via Zoom audio visual. Judge, I would ask the court to allow this to be continued one additional time. And I would also ask that Mr. Shellhorn make sure and call my office after this hearing, give us all his current information, including a current phone number.
Mr. Shellhorn, you should have done that August 3rd of 2022. Always keep your information current with your attorney. We've been meeting here on these hearings since July 27th of 2022. Well, we would have been, other than you failed to appear, and we've been having a tough time getting this wrapped up. So let's
Diversion
do
is
that.
Yes, Your Honor. I am in the process of with driver's division or driver services. I need to get back with them. Like I said, I have been in contact.
I heard you. Just get it done.
Okay.
diversion is
All
them
right.
giving you a chance
You're
to
tired of seeing me.
satisfy a few things and then they won't
Okay,
prosecute
you may
you.
go, sir. Oh, come back though. Come back June 5th at 8 a.m.
And I need to contact Mr. Patterson.
Well,
Call my
call
office,
Mr.
make sure we have your
Patterson's
contact information.
Get that number.
And call his office now and give it to him.
Okay.
They're back from lunch probably. All right, we'll be in recess on Shellhorn.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor.
You're welcome. And I started to take up Mr. Luna. I got sidetracked with some of them having urgent requests. So let's go back to on the record in 2022 TR 4099, State of Kansas versus Edward Lewis Luna Jr. Please announce appearances.
Jerry Gear on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Edward Luna, who does appear via Zoom audio visual. He does have two cases, Your Honor.
He is
Yes,
awake.
we're also here on 2022 TR 4100.
And Judge, following discussions with Mr. Regier, I am asking the court to allow continuance. I need to have further discussion with Mr. Luna to discuss some issues concerning this case.
So you have no objection, Mr. Regier?
Not at this point, Your Honor. I would request that as these cases do involve the same defendant, that they be set on the same docket.
Reasonable request. They're both driving after declared habitual, right?
I believe so, Your Honor.
They are. All right, Mr. Luna, I don't want a third one if I set this over, so don't be driving unless you're legal, but you said you're working on it. I'm gonna
Yes, Your Honor.
set these over to June 5th. Be back here June 5th at 8 a.m.
Okay, June 5th at 8 a.m.
Yes, and thank you for your appropriateness today as opposed to last time, and thank you for working on becoming legal as a driver. Nothing further,
You're-
we'll be in recess.
Hey, you're welcome.
You make up,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lemon. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now be on the record in 2020.
Oh, good Lord. We waited all morning for that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we had lots of craziness. We had some good cat herding, and then we had a runner. We had a runner midstream. That was actually pretty interesting. I'll be curious to see. I can't remember his name. Whatever. It's on my stream. I can go back and look at it. It's John. I think it started with B. If he pops up, somebody tell me. If he comes back, I don't know if they pick him up off a warrant. Will they go back in front of her? Yeah, they'll have to. They'll have to. So keep an eye out for John. It's a matter of time. It's when, not if, that John gets picked up. There's no doubt about it, unless he leaves the state. And it looks like that's where he was headed. He's sitting there crying about how he's daddy to these kids. Oh yeah. He's in Nebraska now. All right. Thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it. I seriously thought that was going to be 20 minutes. And then I waited all day for Luna, who was against all odds acting normal. Luckily, there's a lot of other fun stuff on the call. All right. I'll see y'all soon.